All right, the 1920s, trying to stay a separate entity, and Prohibition. Let's get it, Al Capone style. So, the 1920s. So, Post-war struggles to remain a separate armed service. So, in the 1920s, the House Committee on Interstate and Foreign Commerce held hearings on merging the recently created Coast Guard into the United States Navy. And the vote didn't pass because, well, we're talking about the Coast Guard right now, right? Now, seriously, anti-prohibition. You gotta catch that Al Capone guy, and John Dillinger guy, and Bunny lady. Anyway, prohibition. So in the 1920s, the Coast Guard was given several former U.S. Navy four-stat destroyers to help enforce prohibition. The efforts were not entirely successful due to the slowness, the heaviness, and the hugeness of the destroyers, because even though the destroyers are actually a naval class small vessel, small is not going to cut it for riverboats. We need tiny to medium small, right? However, the mission proved and provided many Coast Guard officers and petty officers with operational experience of destroyers, which proved invaluable in World War II because these aren't rum runners, but the Third Reich Krauts. The Navy's epithet or epithet of Hooligan Navy also dates back to this era as well, due to the Coast Guard's flexibility in enlisting men and women discharged from other services to rapidly expand their Coast Guard, ranks. Yep, we're just absorbing stuff in the 1920s to the 40s, huh? It has also endured due to the high proportion of prior other service enlistees from the Air Force, the Army, and of course, the Navy. And probably the Space Force in the future as we get that going, right? What else is there to say? And become a term of pride within the service itself. And another theory, I'm just gonna shout it here. Another theory could be the fact that they actually had to catch hooligans and rum runners on the boats and rivers of Florida and the Bahama Keys. So it could be the fact that the operational space and the operational perimeter of the Coast Guard's prohibition operations could have been the fact that they were on the water, not just coastally, but in the middle of the Florida to Bahama Keys shoreline. So basically they had to catch rum runners on the open waters and in the territorial waters of the United States. So there's that theory, but Hooligan Navy kind of sounds funnier when you have that kind of joke to it, but more stuff to say. Commandant Billard utilized intelligence operatives and operations, cryptology, counterintelligence campaigns, and the first signal intercept vessels to support headquarter operations for Prohibition. So it was really a very big operation and one of the first radio and technologically armed services in the US. So they're using cryptology and stuff like that just to intercept these kind of things. So pretty proud. But last story of the day, 1927 Mississippi River flood. So during the disastrous 1927 Mississippi River flood, the Coast Guard rescued a total of 43,853 persons who they removed from perilous positions to places of safety. Additionally, they saved 11,313 heads of livestock and furnished transportation for 72 persons in need of hospitalization and immediate care. In all, 674 Coast Guard men and women and 128 Coast Guard vessels and boats served in the relief operations. But now, all this good stuff must come to an end, and we must absorb more. Yes, the Coast Guard has slowly begun to absorb more and get more regulations and more jobs. And that's what's so depressing about the 1930s, huh? Not the Great Depression, not the looming threat of another world war, but more paperwork and more stuff to do. Tune in next time on the Variety Hour on Channel 5 News to hear about the Coast Guard in the 1930s and the gloaming war. Anyway, that was pretty fun. That was pretty funny, huh? More paperwork to do, huh? But with that being said, I hope you enjoy. I hope you learned something. And yes, being in the armed services isn't about shooting guns and taking names all the time. Most of that shit requires paperwork. So if you're thinking about joining any armed force, just know paperwork. There's going to be a lot of paperwork. Anyway, hope you enjoy. Hope you learned something. And yeah, until next time, enjoy. Yeah, when I first signed up and got denied, I had to do so much paperwork, dude. There's a literal file and I haven't even got in, so imagine if I got in, dude. That file would be huge. That would be a book. A book. Seriously. Anyway, learn something. Seriously. Enjoy, and I'll see you in the 1930s.